All right, JMC 6000 here in the JMC Garage for this week's JMC Garage Talk. We have the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe, but that video is for this coming Wednesday morning. When I want to focus on the JMC Garage Talk, I have my flashlight. We're going to look at the powertrain and the kind of controversial aspect of this powertrain. So let's kind of get into it just a little bit. So this powertrain in the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe is not new to Hyundai. In fact, Hyundai and Kia have been using this powertrain for several years now. It is the corporate 2.5 liter turbo, direct and port injected, and also coupled with their 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. So let's kind of get into this because there are some issues with this powertrain that many people have expressed about. There are some things that Hyundai has done to this powertrain to kind of help it out just a little bit, especially for this year. But let's kind of go into this powertrain. So number one, let's cover the engine. Again, it's a 2.5 liter, puts out 277 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. It uses a single turbo right back here. As you can see, this turbo is right out in the open, very easy to get to. We have what this engine uses is an air-to-air intercooler. So it does not have air-to-water or anything like that. It's an actual air-to-air intercooler. That the intercooler, which you can't see now because of this massive grill, but it's up in front of the radiator here. But anyway, so one of the unique things about this engine that I quite like is, number one, it's actually very smooth for being a four-cylinder. It's a very smooth engine. This does employ Hyundai's latest dual injection technology. Not many people know this, and the older 2.5 turbos were just direct injected only. But this particular one that they're using, I don't know if it's all across the board, but I know this particular one they're using is dual injection, where you have not only direct injection, this direct injection fuel pump, which has a hard fuel line, but it also has dual injection, where you actually have port injection right here. So you have the hard fuel line going to the direct injector, which is direct injectors, which are underneath this plastic intake. But you also have a soft fuel line that goes to the port injection, which is right here, which is very, very good, Hyundai. Thank you for doing that. We can minimize carbon deposits and everything else by utilizing the dual injection process. As you can see, spark plugs are right here, nice out in the open to get to the coils. This does have dual variable valve timing, where we have variable valve timing for the exhaust and for the intake, which is also a welcome change. As you can see, that there is quite a bit of decent room to work on this engine. It's not a lot of room, but there's a decent amount of room. You can see the air track for the fresh air comes in through the air cleaner here, goes in to the turbo, comes out of the turbo through this charge pipe right here, goes up front to the intercooler, and then after it gets cooled down by the intercooler, an air-to-air exchange intercooler, then it comes down here through this massive charge pipe, goes into the electronic throttle body, then it goes right into the intake, and then into the engine. Other than that, there's really nothing else special going on with this engine. You do see you utilize a plastic engine cover. It does use timing chains and everything else. So, but let's talk about the other controversial thing with this particular powertrain, which you cannot see, at least from up here, unless I remove a bunch of things like the battery, the computer, the air box. But underneath the battery, underneath the computer and the air box lives the 8-speed automatic, the dual clutch automatic. Now, I believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, I believe it's a wet clutch, dual clutch automatic. But Hyundai's had issues with their dual clutch automatic transmissions. This particular one they're going to be reviewing coming up on Wednesday morning, so stay tuned for that video on the JMC 6000 channel. This particular one is the XRT, which is more the off-roady trim, but the dual clutch do not like going off-road. They'll be kind of herky-jerky and everything else. One of the things I experienced, which I'm going to talk about my drive and everything else, but with this dual clutch, one of the things I've experienced is that it'll have a hard time engaging off a stop. maybe not a hard time engaging, but it's very slow to engage. Like the engine will rev up, and then all of a sudden you'll start to go. It's kind of a weird feeling, almost like somebody's letting out the clutch as soon as you get off the stop. It's one of the downsides of the dual clutch. But what I wanted to talk about in this video, as we're looking at this, is some of my other YouTube companions, Car Confections, actually bought a brand new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe. If you want to look up their channel, you can. They've already had to take it back to Hyundai to get the transmission replaced, and it didn't even have 100 miles on it. They've already had the transmission replaced, the same dual clutch transmission. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't get the hybrid version of this, you're stuck with this engine and this transmission. There's no other options available unless you want to get the hybrid version of the Santa Fe, where it does come with the traditional 6-speed automatic, the 1.6 turbo. We're not going into this video. This video is strictly on this powertrain and the issues with the dual clutch. I think Hyundai has some work to do on the dual clutch to kind of iron out some things. Personally, I think Hyundai should have just stuck a traditional 8-speed automatic or something higher in this and gotten away from the dual clutch. The problem with the dual clutch that I believe is that it's a little bit ill-equipped to handle the power output. I mean, this puts out almost 300 horsepower, and I just don't think the dual clutch can really handle that kind of power output, especially the torque this engine puts out. This is a torquey engine, 311 pound-feet. I mean, it's putting out some pretty good amount of torque, and I think over time it's going to ruin the clutches and everything else. And with a wet clutch system, you definitely need to change the fluid. That's something you got to be critical on. Maintenance, I believe, on the dual clutch, if you do buy one of these, is going to be very crucial. Change your fluid and change it often. This is not something you want to neglect, because as the clutch packs combine and how dual clutch works is the clutch packs actually mesh together to do the different gears. And how that works is over time, it's going to deposit that clutch material into the fluid. So having crucial fluid changes, it's going to be crucial in this particular system, and it'll help to prolong the life of the dual clutch automatic. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of go through this engine, go through this powertrain. It's not new to Hyundai, but they've done some updates to the engine, which are very nice. Unfortunately, it's saddled by a transmission that I'm not the biggest fan of. Even when you get on it, it doesn't produce very strong shifts. It's like, it's kind of lazy. I mean, dual clutch are supposed to be snappy, supposed to be quick, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, they're really, and maybe I'm thinking about the Porsche PDK, but anyway, they're supposed to be snappy, they're supposed to be quick. That's what I expect out of a dual clutch. But man, this thing is very, very lazy. I mean, yes, the 2.5 puts out good power. I have no issues with the engine. What I have an issue with is the transmission they saddled to this engine, and it's just lazy shifting. It's lazy off the line, and then when boost builds up and it shifts, it's just very mushy, very pillowy, and I think over time it's not only going to degrade the clutch pack and materials, but it's going to degrade the fluid in there as well. So again, maintenance is going to be important, especially with that transmission. I mean, I want to push it past 60,000 and then maybe change the transmission fluid every 60,000, if not even sooner, because of the known issues with the dual clutch. Because of, and yes, I know Hyundai has a good warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles, great warranty. I get that with their powertrain. But if you don't want issues outside of the warranty expiring, make sure you change that fluid. Make sure you keep after that fluid. Even if the manual says, oh no, you can go to 100, 150,000 miles. No, don't believe it. I'm just telling you the nature of a dual clutch and how they work. You want to make sure you're up on your fluid changes. It's a very different animal than a traditional automatic. That's what we wanted to talk about here in the JMC Garage Talk here today. You guys be blessed and stay tuned for my video of this vehicle I'm going to be reviewing coming up this Wednesday morning. So stay tuned for that video. You guys be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I upload every single Wednesday morning and every single Saturday evening. Thank you.